Hey there, folks. I keep threatening you to let you know that I'm going to put something together for solving systems of equations. And this is the flippable for it, but I'm going to do this in 3 sections because that's the way we're learning it. So we're going to cut these apart a little bit differently than my instructions tell us to do. So basically on our page that says step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, we're going to cut along this line. We're going to cut along this line. We're going to cut along this line. And then we're going to cut this heading thing off. Okay, well, maybe we'll cut the heading thing off and then cut the 3 lines. And then also we're going to, once we've done that, we're going to cut right here, cut right here, cut right here. So I'm going to pause the video and while I cut that out, and then I'll talk to you about the other page. Okay, so here I've got all my flipping parts. Kind of feels a little bit like fringe because it's only really just hanging on by a thread. But I'm going to put these aside, and then I'm going to cut apart the bottom pieces, which are right here. And this time we're going to cut the same places, except we're not going to make these cuts. Okay. So we're just going to leave them as strips. So we'll have 3 strips when we're done cutting it out. So I'm going to get busy on that, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. Okay, I have now all my pieces together, and they're all mixed up and stuff. And we've got the little flappies, and we've got all these steps, but we don't have it matched up. And then there's a lot of blanks on here, so we have to fill in those blanks. So where we're going to start is I'm just going to move these out of my way. I don't need the scissors anymore. Is just move these out of my way. Get out my composition book. Wait for the light to hopefully show what this really says. This is my index, if you remember from last time. So I think I'm going to have to adjust the light up. Maybe I just need to get in the way of it. Cool. All right, we're going to need 1 page for this. So we'll say that on page 8, we have solving systems of equations. Okay, now I'm going to turn past that and past the work we did on the linear equations, and here's page 8. So make sure that I label it, number the pages, and here's where we're going to start. We're going to start by taking all those parts that have that don't have the flappies, and we're going to glue them all down. We're going to actually put this all together, and then we're going to fill out one of them. And then when we get to talking about the next method of solving, we're going to fill out that one. And then when we get to the next one, we're going to fill out that one. So I know I'm looking forward to it. So we've been talking about graphing. So I know I'm going to need that. And there's one of these that has graphs on it. So that must be the one that goes with it. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to, right now, I'm just going to use my glue stick, and I'm going to glue this down. And then I'm going to actually also, I might glue it. I might use tape for this and tape the cover right on top of it. So let's see, where did I put my glue stick? Here it is. And I like this because we can fit all 3 on the same page. So I don't want to mess up get glue on the messed up page. So if you have experience with glue sticks, you know that you want to actually do this over some scrap paper. So because when you get to the edges, the glue stick is definitely going to, you're going to get glue on your page. So don't do what I'm doing, or don't do it the way I'm doing it. So, okay, here's one. You know, while I'm at it, I think I'm going to glue the other ones down, and I think what we'll do is we're going to do, let's see. Yep, here's the one. So this is the one that says where the example is in the middle, as opposed to where the example's in the first spot. Okay, so I'm going to glue this one down now while this one's drying. I know, it's not very exciting to watch, but it's only 3 pieces. I figure, folks can handle it. And then you can criticize all my gluing techniques. It's been a long time since I've taken arts and crafts. So there's one. And then I'm going to glue the last one down. Hopefully I'm not going to make a mess with this one, but you never know. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now, notice that I've got all the gray areas facing upward, at the top. That's kind of important. Just from a mechanical point of view. So I'm hoping that this will dry real soon. But while that is going on, I'm actually just going to put the glue right here, right along this gray strip. Oops. So then I can put the cover on it, and this one is the graphing one. And again, I don't know why I didn't do this on colored paper. I think it would be so much more fun if we did it on colored paper. So hopefully I'll remember for the next time. But then again, don't know what that's going to be. And I think I'm going to glue the rest of this down too. Yeah. Even though we're not going to talk about the substitution method here, we will talk about how to fill this thing out. So you'll have a short recording on how to fill out the substitution part. And then later on, you will get instructions on how to fill out the elimination part. Excellent. I know I've got a lot of extra glue, and my art teachers always used to yell at me because you're using too much glue. You're using too much glue. Okay. So since we've been talking about graphing, I want to work on the graphing strip right here. So I'm going to flip this one over. Looks like I'm going to have to crease it a little bit. And I don't know how well you can read this, but if you're looking at your own, you probably can. It says if both equations are in the same form, you don't need to do anything, because we know how to graph equations if they're in the same form. And if we don't, we're going to talk about it too, because we have room for nodes. So if they're not in the same form, then you want to get them in the same form. And just as a reminder, I put in here the standard form, which is always going to be some number times x plus some number times y is going to equal some number. Okay. Then we have the y-intercept, the slope-intercept form, which is the one that we all like the most. Y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept, and I say that b stands for BPN, and m here is the slope, and I say the m stands for move. And then we have the point slope form. I'm going to write this bigger, and I'm actually thinking I might make a bigger copy for you before I publish this. So So the point slope formula is, let's see, y minus y sub 1. Remember, the y sub 1 represents the y value of the point that we already know, equals the slope times x minus x1. And remember, x1 is the x value for the point that we already know. So we definitely want to get our equations in the same form. It's usually just going to be easier to think about that way, because once we go to start graphing it, I mean, here's our system actually that we're going to be working with, and we notice that they're not both in the same form. One says negative 4x plus y equals negative 3, and that's in standard form. And here it says y equals negative 2x plus 3. Well, that's slope-intercept form. Usually, we're going to shoot for y-intercept form. So that means that I don't need to worry about this one, because that's okay. But I do need to take care of this first one. So I'm going to write it back down over here. Negative 4x plus y equals negative 3. I see that y is all by itself, and I want y to be all by itself. But in order to do that, I have to add 4x to both sides. And now I have y equals 4x minus 3. So now I can work with those two. Okay. With y-intercept, or slope-intercept, what we all like about it is that it tells us some very interesting things, like that our y-intercept for this one is 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and it has a slope of negative 2, which usually means down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. Okay. So we got the first one taken care of. I'm going to chance it. I'm not going to use a ruler. I'm a rebel. So this is our y equals negative 2x plus 3. And then on our second one, which is right here, we see that our y-intercept is negative 3. So we're going to start, let's see, 1, 2, 3. And it has a slope of 4. Wow. So it's going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. Ah, look at that. And this is the line y equals 4x minus 3. Cool. That's one of the reasons slope-intercept is so much fun. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try. Hope I didn't make you guys dizzy. I'm sorry. There. Yeah, I think that's going to be much better. You don't need to see the whole page, I think. Okay, cool. So we took care of those two flaps. Now the next one, it says identify the coordinates for the, should go in that blank. Yeah, that's going to be intersection. So we're going to identify the coordinates for where the two lines cross. So that should be intersection. And I'm just going to here's our origin, and I'm just going to sketch this in. Oops. So here's our second line, actually, and our first line is something like that. And this right here, here's the sweet spot. And if we look, those coordinates are, oh, look, it's 1, 1. last step. This is the step that nobody wants to do. We need to check the solution in both of the original equations. This is check. And all that basically means is that I'm going to take the value of 1 and put it in for x, and a value of 1, put it in for y in both the equations, and hopefully I'll get true statements. So my first equation was that negative 4 times x, which we said is 1, plus y, which we said was 1, and we hope that that's going to equal negative 3. So let's see, negative 4 times 1, that's going to be negative 4. Negative 4 plus 1, that equals negative 3. And negative 3 indeed equals negative 3. So we check it. And then we check the next one. We want to know if 1, because that's y, equals negative 2 times x, which is 1, plus 3. So we want to know if 1, does that equal, well, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 plus 3, that's going to equal 1. And I only did that because I ran out of space. Ordinarily, I'd continue it down. I can still continue it down. So 1 equals 1, and it checks. So that, in a nutshell, is your little cheat sheet, or note catcher, or however you want to call it, for how to solve systems of equations by graphing. And then pretty soon a lesson we've got on substitution, and then we'll fill that one out. So I shall see you shortly.